Good evening, all you creatures of the night. Tonight we're doing a mini episode, not a full episode. Half of one, that's why it's mini. And I'm here with the gang, as I like to call them. I'm here with the magnanimous, the fantastic, the ever-charming Lindsay Clark. We got Lindsay here.
Hi.
And then Pete also. Pete's here too.
Thanks, man.
Switching it up. I'm switching it up, Pete.
So, is your reference to the gang, are we like the Scooby Gang, or are we like some other kind of gang?
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with, yeah, sure, we can be Scooby-Doo.
I think it fits.
I'd call Shaggy.
So you're the pothead then?
Oh, I don't
That's basically
know
the same
where you're
message.
getting that from.
Messenger.
They were just very hungry lads who just happened to have billowing smoke come out with them. This is
That's
really
naive.
Wait, they were smoking pot that whole time?
Just drop some knowledge on that.
Well, my childhood's ruined. Thanks, guys.
On that note,
All right. So, to the mini episode. This week we're doing remakes. We have picked, each of us, a remake that we thought was great and a remake that we thought wasn't so great. And we're going to discuss which one we picked and tell, maybe why we thought that. And we're going to probe with some very hard questions our other co-hosts of why they made these choices. So with that being said, I'm going to push the mic over to Pete. And I want Pete to take it away, starting with the worst remake in your mind, horror remake.
I always feel like this one always comes to mind for me, and that's the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street that came out, was it like 2010, I want to say?
Yes, the summer of 2010.
And that one, to me, is that the also Michael Bay produced?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the Friday the 13th too.
Yeah. So that studio has been pretty responsible for a lot of the remakes lately, especially of the big franchises. I would say Texas Chainsaw, I think, is involved. Friday the 13th is involved. There's probably another one in the mix too that I'm forgetting. But this one, this is the one that I actually despise. I'm fine with the other two. But the Nightmare on Elm Street one, it just doesn't look good. Like, I would say set piece wise, it looks good. Like, there's some cool scenes, like, there's some jewelry scenes. Like, I want to say one of the dream sequences in the classroom looked pretty cool. But that's all I had going for it, was like a few dream sequences. They tried to give Freddy, like, a backstory, which was kind of weak in my opinion. And it just didn't. He just couldn't capture what. Now I forgot his fucking name. Robert Englund did.
Oh yeah.
This guy was no Robert Englund, and I get that you had to move on because he was fucking Freddy for so long, but he just looked like an animal, like a burned animal, and like all the other special effects like just looked really bad CGI. And they did nothing new. Everything was like pulled from the original. Only difference is the Freddy backstory, which was bad.
What year was the original? I can't remember.
84, I want to say.
Okay.
Something like that.
And so this was 2010. Okay.
Yeah. And then someone did a side-by-side comparison of like one of the screens where Freddy is like coming stretchy through the wall to grab I can't, not Nancy. That's... Oh, wait, is it Nancy?
That's the main character.
Yeah, I was confusing Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street for a second. I was like, wait.
That's Sydney.
Sydney, yeah. See, girl names, I'm not so good with them. They did a side-by-side comparison, and then, like, the original one, like, special effects looked, like, light years better. And, like, they're like, wow, like, they didn't even try with this 2010 remake. Like they just got like when they had to use CGI, they used cheap CGI. When they probably should have found some other like hybrid or maybe give it another polish up because it just kind of seemed lazy.
Yeah, well, that would really
I mean, that's how
take
I kind of
away
felt
from it. You know, like if it's that obvious, then it's not going to add to it. It's just going to detract from what they're trying to do.
You got any hard-hitting questions, Matt?
Well, I don't want to go too deep into it, but I wanted to know your opinion. You're kind of talking through it. I know you're a huge fan of the original. Like, you really like that series. I mean, you talked about what it was missing. I guess they changed up Robert Engel, but I mean, what stood out to you the most about this one being, I guess, worse than the original, or not even worthy of being remade?
Say that question again. I'm sorry.
I just want to know your personal opinion because you were a fan of the original. I know it's one of your favorites, but what like really stood out to you of why you felt this wasn't a good remake? Because I feel like you would have been on board for this movie coming out.
I was definitely on board for like a remake I'm usually on board for most remakes of horror movies. I think it's just that it just even like what was it, Rooney Mara or one of the Mara, Kate Mara?
That was Rooney.
It was Rooney.
That was Rooney Mara in the movie. Yeah, big fan over here.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Like they should have given more to her because she's a great actress, and I just wish they had someone to play Freddy that was like on her caliber. That could have been something good. But she was like the only one that had the acting chops, and they didn't give her enough to do. I almost feel like she had less to do than she did in the original. It seemed like there was a lot. Like, maybe it's just like because I'm a fan of the original, and I'm going a little long here. But maybe because I am the fan, it seemed like Nancy in the original had more to do than in the remake. But that could just be me being a fan.
No, I think you make good points. I mean, I kind of felt that I wasn't a big fan of the remake. And I think you kind of hit the point that maybe I hadn't thought of. But yeah, Nancy was such more of a pivotal character in the original, and I felt like Rooney Mara in this one, she was a great actress, but it wasn't really so much focused on her as much. I don't know. Thoughts. But Pete, if you don't mind, I'm going to push on to the next one because we have 5 more of all of us, and we're halfway through. Is that okay, Pete?
Yeah, that's my bad.
Okay, cool. I guess Lindsay will throw it over to you. What was, in your eyes, not a good remake?
So this was remade in 2006, Black Christmas, from the original in 1974. And kind of, a synopsis. There's a killer that escapes from an asylum, and he starts stalking and killing the girls in a sorority house, which is actually the house that he grew up in. So this is around Christmas, obviously. I was 14 when this came out, and I remember, being, really excited. I wanted to see this movie, but, I was 14, so I didn't know any better. But I think, there's just nothing very remarkable about this movie at all, that stands out to me. There's no acting that I think, nobody, does this, besides the killer's mother, which that's another issue, but, I think where they kind of, went down the wrong road with this one was adding a backstory to the killer. The original, there was none of that. In the original, they don't reveal who the killer is at all. It's kind of left to the audience's imagination. We don't ever see the killer. So I think that kind of added to building suspense and, having that extra scare factor. But with 2006, they added this whole, unnecessary backstory. And it truly just lacks suspense, in my opinion. I did not feel, scared at all. I'm pretty sure by definition that's what horror movies are supposed to do. I felt like it was very predictable, and I kind of felt let down. I will say that it's a lot gorier than the original, definitely more brutal in the deaths, but I kind of found that to be a little bit over the top. And then as far as like the characters, like none of them really have any like sort of personality. I didn't feel that connection with the characters. I don't think I even knew any of their names until after they had already died. So, and like every single time somebody dies, the killer would always attack them the same way by like wrapping a plastic bag around their head every time, and then everyone gets their eye gouged out. So, I mean, if you watch it, I would say like maybe don't watch it and compare it to the original. Kind of just view them as two separate things, maybe, if you're going to do that. This is considered to be like more of a loose remake of the original, and like I said, I just don't think that really worked. I think it was interesting how the director of the 1974 version, Bob Clark, was an executive producer on the 2006 one, but that didn't really seem to help its cause. Yeah, it's pretty forgettable. And that's what I think.
Yeah, I don't think he had much to do with it because I think he was pretty sick at the time because he passed away, unfortunately. Like I want to say pretty close to like after that movie. I want to say like maybe a year or two after that.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he I want to say he died in like 2006. Like this is all like me making like educated guesses here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny that you picked. I've actually never seen this remake, and I love the original, but I hear it's one of the worst remakes. So I think like a lot of people would agree with you that it's a pretty terrible remake. I mean, there's probably a fan out there somewhere, but I think you're gonna have a lot of people agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I think in our underrated, overrated, I think I chose this as the original,
of course,
as an underrated movie.
You did.
Okay.
Yeah, because, and it's like, I love the original Black Christmas, and then when you said this came out in 2006, the remake, I had totally forgot. Like you said, I don't know if it was like
you
a
want
blip,
to forget.
but you want to forget that it came out, this remake, because I do like the original so much. But yeah, it's a shame.
I'm a fan of like the holiday like horror movies. Like we had mentioned Krampus before. That was like, I wish it had been somehow like more in line with that, and that's a good example of a holiday horror movie, but that's not what this was.
Yeah, on to you, Matt.
I'll take it away for what I thought wasn't a great remake. I'm going to piggyback off of some of the same reasons that Lindsay didn't like her movie, but I chose the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
All right.
Wait, no, 2013? Did I say 3?
You said 3.
I think it's 2000. I think it's 13. 2013.
Okay,
I think was
so the other remake.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and the one, Pete, you actually were talking about this. You said you were okay with it, the other remakes, because you didn't like the Nightmare on Elm Street, but were okay with like the other ones, right?
I'm okay with the 2003 one, and I probably got it confused that it was that was produced by Michael Bay, but yours is the one that's produced by him, right?
Yeah, this is 2013. Yes, and it's supposed to be like the original, the 1978 one, which I love that one. Which, I saw this one before I saw the original.
Wait, really?
So I saw this one first. Yeah, so I would have been in 2013? In college, right? So I saw this one, and then I was in a horror film class, and I saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original, and I loved that movie. And then I went back and watched this one, and the whole story is different. Like the whole setup is.
Well, I think it's supposed to be a sequel. Technically, it's supposed to take place. No.
Oh no! Oh. They made a remake of the original, and then they made 2 other ones, which was supposed to be a prequel to that one, and then a sequel to the remake they made.
I might
So
be
they
getting
made
confused with probably which chainsaw you're talking about, because I thought there was one that had. Is there a rapper that's in this one? No,
Please tell me no.
What's it?
not a rapper, but Tyga, right? Is it Tiger? Tiger?
No, Trey Songs.
Trey
is in
Songs.
it.
That's right.
Yeah. He is not in the one I'm referring to. He was in the sequel to the remake.
Okay, that's probably
I'm
where I'm
yeah.
getting confused.
Yeah, he's in the sequel, and the main girl in that was the girl who was just in Baywatch. The main girl, one of the main girls in Baywatch. If you can, okay, I didn't see it either, but she was in that. I'm talking the Jessica Biel one.
That's 2003, right?
That one's 2003.
That one's 2003.
Okay, then that's the one, not 13. Because then 13 is the prequel, and the one after that. No, 13 is oh god.
Yeah.
The sequel to the remake.
This franchise is struggling. That's one way to put it. There's 2003 with Jessica Biel, and
That's the one. Yeah.
that one I like. That one
Okay. So
is definitely different, and then they made
mhm.
the one after that was the prequel.
Right.
Then the prequel one had Jordie Brewster from Fast and the Furious movies.
Mhm.
I think that's her name.
Mhm.
Then they remade it again, 2013,
That is so
With Trey
not
Songz.
confusing at all.
with Trey Songz, and that one's supposed to be pretty bad, at least critically wise. But it made a shit ton of money, so much money that they had enough money to make 10 Texas Chainsaw movies, because of how little the budget is for the one they made, and how profitable it was. It was around the same time the
Oh,
Evil Dead
man.
remake came out. It was around the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just,
You got me
and
so
then,
messed up.
then they're making a sequel to that called Leatherface.
Yeah, I knew that. Mm-hmm.
All right, man.
Yeah. So if that wasn't confusing enough
Yeah.
to not like it. No, but one of the main things was what I liked about the first one was it was really subtle, and it really played on a lot of building suspense and like that psychological terror of like being out in the middle of nowhere, like paranoia, and then Leatherface shows up, similar to like Halloween, and even what Lindsay was saying just about the remake of Black Christmas was way more gory. This one was way more gory, just like added to the effect, and it just lost all the suspense. And at the end, I believe the plot is different. I mean, I'm probably confusing all three of these now, but Leatherface is like a relative of the main girl, and that's why they're at the house. It's like the house was passed down to her is why the group goes there, and Leatherface and the family ends up being like related to the main girl. That's not the original. The original is like their car breaks down and they go to the side of the road, and so it's just weird. Like Leatherface is a friend of theirs at the end.
Yeah.
Makes like
I literally don't even remember that, and I enjoyed this.
oh, I did, Pete. I never forgot. But that's what the one I chose. I didn't like. Did a whole loop to get to the one I was talking about.
Yeah. Well, the makers of the movie didn't make it easy for us because there's got a whole bunch. There's like 4 sequels and there's a whole lot going on. And I think there's 3 sequels. Texas Chainsaw 2, which is weird because it's a direct sequel, but it's like a comedy, a dark comedy, and the poster's like a parody of The Breakfast Club.
Oh.
And it's strange. It's a strange movie. Third one, I don't know anything about it. Fourth one, I believe, is like The New Beginning or something, and Matthew McConaughey's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's New Beginning. I might be confusing it with another one, as we easily have been.
It's mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the beginning something. The beginnings. Yeah. They're all over the place, but the original is still the best in my opinion.
Oh, I mean, usually can't beat it. But I know we
Well,
went
with that segue.
yeah, we went really long with the ones we hate. I think we could be pretty short with the ones we love, because I think they're pretty self-explanatory why we love them. It's easier to talk about things we hate. So, Matt, do you want to start off with your favorite one?
Sure, I'll go first on the ones I really liked. I'm going with, I think, a critically acclaimed one people would agree with is The Thing, 1982, John Carpenter. I actually watched it last night because I knew we were going to be recording and I hadn't watched it in so long, and it was great. Watched it like midnight. Anyway, no, I think it's great because the original it's a 50s sci-fi, really more of a sci-fi movie, a little bit of horror, the Thing from Another World, and Carpenter really focused on what was interesting about that, and the novel it's based on is just that the alien can imitate, I don't know, like anything that it sees, a person or a dog, and he really preyed upon that idea of paranoia, almost in the same way The Shining did, where his scores and the films and like the open, like the really condensed framing gave you that feeling of claustrophobia, and really like you felt the paranoia with the characters, and the special effects are awesome in that movie. Like they did like no CGI, it was all real special effects and makeup to make The Thing, and I like that one. And I'll cut my time short, but The Thing is my favorite remake.
It's a good remake.
Yeah.
Lindsay, what's your pick?
I'm gonna say The Grudge from 2004, remade from the Japanese movie 2002. So it's only 2 years apart, and I think what was good about it was that they were both directed by the same guy. So, and I also like that they didn't change the setting for the American version with Sarah Michelle Gellar. It's still set in Japan. So I like that element of it. And, I think it stays pretty true to the original. And in this case, it works in terms of storyline and the themes, which were like abandonment, evil, isolation, revenge. And I think the 2004 version carries that pretty well, like the 2002 version did. And it's told through like flashbacks and interconnecting storylines, just like the first one too, and very slow and deliberate rhythms. And I think that adds to the spook factor. I remember when this movie came out too, I wasn't trying to see it back then because I was like 12, but I feel like the 12-year-old version of me would be just as creeped out by it that I was like as me now. Like I just like was terrified by that imagery. This one, I think it was definitely more of a commercial success than it was critically, but like I don't really go by what critics say. I think it like was a hit at the box office, and I think I actually read that it was like the second highest grossing horror film after The Ring. So, and then there were, I think, The Grudge 2 and 3, which I haven't actually seen, but yeah, so it kind of spawned its own American franchise.
Yeah.
I forgot that Sarah Michelle Gellar was in that movie because I've actually never seen the American remake of The Grudge.
Really?
Oh, Peter.
I just haven't had the opportunity.
It's a good one. I liked it. I think I liked it more than the Ring remake, which I know is a big success and people like that remake. But
I do like
goes
that
to
remake.
Grudge.
I do like the Ring remake a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I do too.
That actually was my first pick, but then I wanted to change it up because I knew everyone's selections beforehand.
Yeah.
What?
It's rigged.
Oh no!
It's rigged. It's rigged. I'm telling you. But I'm surprised I didn't think of it before. But it's actually I'm gonna go with the Fly remake by David Cronenberg, which is actually another one of my favorite. I would put it definitely top like horror films I've seen. Like right up with The Thing is also one of my favorites, and they're all like very special effects heavy, where they're just really well done. But I think The Fly also like succeeds in the story where The Thing succeeds. So that's why they're just so top tier horror remakes, and it's also remade from a 50s sci-fi movie which is really weird. Them seeing these comparisons in the moment.
Yeah.
And that one was with Vincent Price, and it's not bad. The original, it's just kind of boring. It doesn't hold up very well. I feel like I only like it because of Vincent Price, and I also have a soft spot for like 50 sci-fi every now and again. But the 80s one, it just like really delivers on the body horror. You got Jeff Goldblum, you got Gina Davis, David Cronenberg makes a creepy like cameo in it as the gynecologist. He's just a weird looking dude. But it's a gross movie. It's just really grotesque in its body horror, and that's really what it is. It's just like a really gross, well told like horror story. And the first time I watched it, I was like, oh my god, like this is just crazy. And I wonder like what the original guy thought of it, because I know, thinking of The Thing, the guy who made the original The Thing hated John Carpenter's remake, which I think is vastly superior. I wonder what the original guy who made The Fly thinks of the David Cronenberg remake, if he even saw it.
Oh, I'm sure he did, whether he'll admit it or not.
But yeah, that's if you haven't seen it, I would say if you're a horror fan, you probably like it.
All right. Well, everybody, we said mini episode, but we went about the length of a full episode. We like horror movies. We like talking about them.
You could shave off a few minutes and call it a mini episode.
We can, yeah. We can trim it in half. But thanks for tuning in. Let us know what you're thinking on the social medias, Twitter and Facebook, and our forums online. We want to know, who said it best? Who chose the best remake? Who chose the worst remake? Who chose the best worst remake?
Like, who do you agree with the most, probably?
Yeah. That's probably the more succinct way of putting it. And let us know movies we missed. We'll be back in a timely frame. We'll be back and we'll have a new episode up for you. So stay tuned. Until next time, I'm Matt Johnson, and I remain in the shadows.
Bye, everybody.